Welcome everybody to the Leo Zagami Show. Here we go for another great episode. And in 1 week from now, we're gonna have a very special broadcast for you with the return of my wife, Christy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Christy is actually editing as we speak the new book that is about to come out. I have already here the cover of this new book, but I'm not going to show it here. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. Of course, it coincides with the official release of Steven Spielberg Disclosure Day, but this week we're gonna finally bring you my latest book, which is gonna be definitely something special for those who think they know it all. You know absolutely nothing. The new book is gonna be entitled The Vatican's Top Secret Alien Agenda, Hidden Encounters, Forbidden Rituals, and Jesuit Astronomers in the Age of UFO Disclosure. It contains top secret documents, incredible testimonies, and it's made in collaboration with the CUN, the Center, the Ufological National Center in Italy, Centro Ufologico Nazionale, which has been studying this phenomenon for 60 years. So expect something really special from your Leo Zagami. It's going to be a rather big book. I mean, it's going to be as big as volume 7. So don't expect a little tiny little book. And like I said, there is going to be material that you never saw or read before. And this is also to expose the so-called ongoing disclosure, showing how the Jesuits are the real hidden hand behind it all since the 1950s. Okay, welcome to another episode. He's already, yes. However, my wife is going to have some serious puppets that will be launched also next week. Then you're also going to understand why puppets are so relevant. Anyway, thank you to Daniel Estes and Mr. K. Bilan, who have helped us out today with the sponsorship. Thank you to all those people who still believe in us and purchase all our books, mine, of course, and also Christie's book, like Confessions of an Illuminati Princess, Volume 2. This is a great book. And of course, the Zagami Family Cookbook. Now, as we are approaching next week, we have, though, another great episode with a lot of information you will not be able to find anywhere else, because This is the reason why I keep on doing this show. If I was simply, bringing you, what everybody else is talking about, it will not be interesting. Of course, we have been shadow banned. We have been limited in our outreach. So what I ask you to do is to subscribe to one of my YouTube channels or X, Rumble, BitChute. I'm also broadcasting on Facebook where I have an official page. Please subscribe. Get also the notifications so you don't miss the upcoming shows, because we might be having more than one show a week after the release of the new book, and I want you to not miss what is coming up, because like I said, the Vatican top secret alien agenda is gonna really shock this whole scene of people who are talking about disclosure, but they're not really disclosing anything relevant. But as you know, Leo Zagami is known for making names, for showing you the receipts and the documents when he actually brings you a topic of relevance, like I did also with Jeffrey Epstein, for example. Now, I think it's very important that we still talk about the rise and fall of a Frankist monster, especially after this week, this whole thing about Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, who, want to buy this island in Albania. And they met with the Albanian Prime Minister, Edi Rama, aboard a yacht owned by Nat Rothschild. Yes, the Rothschild, the Sabatier and Frankie. So I'm still, hoping that you get it. Trump is no longer somebody we can trust in any way, shape, or form. He's an enemy of the American people, and he's in bed with the Sabatier and Frankies. Put it in your head. I mean, there is still people who want to defend him. How can you defend, the attitude, this kind of superior attitude that Ivanka has when she talks about buying an island she found just while navigating the Mediterranean? It makes me puke. By the way, that's it. I wanted to just say that. And now let's start talking about today's show. Today's show is about humanity's fascination with crafting artificial life and intelligence, something that stretches back millennia, long before Silicon Valley, silicon chips, neural networks, AI. People dreamed of machines or magical constructs that could move, speak, reason, and reveal secrets. This lineage runs from mythic automatons and medieval brazen heads to today's AI, of course, where the occult arts of summoning hidden powers have found a startling digital echo in what's about that. Oh, seems to have technical problem. Sorry, small technical problem we have, of course, resolved. Okay, I hope that technically we can fix this matter. Well, let's see if we did, because I'm not really too sure. Nothing. It seems like that's it. Fixed. They tell me that it's fixed, so let's continue. The news this week was quite relevant, and it was given to us by Anthropic regarding calls for a global pause on the AI development.
Stunning warning from AI company Anthropic. The company warns the technology is moving so quickly that we actually need to pause its development before AI can just build itself and humans, before humans lose complete control over it. Ashley Gold, senior technology policy reporter for Axios, joining us now. So, Ashley, for those of us who aren't the experts here, how would we lose control over AI? I mean, what would that look like?
What it would look like is these AI systems making new versions of themselves without any human input. And then at that point, if they are running on their own, on a computer system or on someone's phone, they could maybe do some, mechanisms that we are not ready for them to do yet. And the idea now is that humans are in charge of how these AI systems improve themselves. Humans get to decide what they want to do to make these algorithms and these models more sophisticated. So what Anthropic has described here is a process in which the AI gets better and better to the point where it improves itself. And they think that that is a little scary and something that the whole world should know about. Because if we know about it now, maybe as a society, we can decide to slow AI research down.
Now, we talked about Anthropic going to the Vatican, helping the Pope with his encyclica on the AI. We know also that Anthropic officially rejected their participation with any further development of their AI within the military-industrial complex, though we also know that in reality, if the Pentagon needs Anthropic, they will still keep on using it even after they will officially cease to work with Anthropic. So it's a little bit of a facade. We know that, of course, they want to play the good AI versus the bad AI, but that's, of course, only propaganda. Now, regarding what we are discussing today, let's go to the ancient roots of all this, what brings us to antiquity. The boundary between craft and wonder in ancient times was really thin. We had the Greek myths described by Hephaestus forging golden servants that could think and serve. Then we had also a guy like a guy that is the hero of Alexandria, a guy who apparently also constructed some interesting mechanism. Hero of Alexandria was active in Alexandria during the Roman era, and he was well known for his greatest experiments, an experimentalist of antiquity and a representative of the Hellenistic scientific tradition. So this was already a topic of interest in ancient times. Of course, they were not at the level we are now. There was this machine called the Halophil, which I'm going to show you, which also is rather interesting. The Halophil, known as Hero's engine, is a simple machine, but for the time, it was just like it was spinning, it was a central water container that was heated and that, of course, was exciting a turbine that would then move. And this, for the ancient times, was considered quite innovative. But let's go back to the development of something more closer to our robots or to our supposed artificial intelligence, which is advancing and is becoming more and more scary. In the Middle Ages, this dream crystallized in what was known as the Brazen Head. The Brazen Head was connected to some of the era's greatest scholars and magicians, in particular Roger Bacon, who was a 13th century Franciscan friar and pioneer of experimental science. He's actually well known for having written this booklet, which is a booklet. Actually, this edition is very rare. It's number 99 in a very limited edition that was printed by the Friars of Subiaco a few decades ago. What is this booklet about, and why is relevant for the topic that we are discussing today? Well, let's explain. I segreti dell'arte e della natura, confutazione della magia, which in English is letter concerning the marvelous power of art and nature and concerning the nullity of magic, was written around 1267, and in this book Bacon actually argues that magic and he argues against magic and witchcraft. He is actually showing that things can be made in the name of science. He famously predicts in this book future inventions that will seem like magic, but are not. He talked about, remember, this was a long time ago. We are talking about a very long time ago. And he was talking about the possibility of flying machines, submarines, gunpowder. In this little booklet, which I repeat is pretty fascinating. And this friar, Bacon, Roger Bacon, not to be confused, of course, with another Bacon later on, but he was, in an ironic way, when we have this Brazen Head, the legend that starts to circulate after his death, we understand that, of course, he might have been hiding certain things to the public, because the legend of the Brazen Head is very interesting. So on one side, we have Bacon, whose goal is to prove that magic does not exist. Ironically, though, despite writing this booklet, which is totally against magic, people in the late Middle Ages and in the Renaissance did not listen to him, because he was so smart and built early mechanical instruments that people thought they were magic. The people started spreading rumors that he was a wizard who could do magical things. And in this context, though, we know that already, though, soon after his death, there was a story that was written by an anonymous source, the famous history of Friar Bacon. In this story, it talks about Bacon, Roger Bacon, spending 7 years to make a head of brass that in a way would become like an oracle. He wanted to use this oracle to activate the supernatural knowledge that, I mean, he was building something that would be like today's AI. You will ask this oracle questions and this oracle will answer you. So the head finally comes to life, so the legends say, and it only spoke 3 phrases: time is, time was, and time is past. Then it crashes to the floor and it shatters into pieces. So this is briefly the story behind Bacon. So we have today large language models, conversational, predictive, seemingly omniscient digital brazen heads, because that's what they are. They do not merely compute, they stimulate understanding. They have patterns of recognition, they can participate to our creativity. And this in the past was reserved for oracle of spirits, if you think about it. I would say that digital occultism definitely comes from the past. That's why I'm starting by talking about Bacon, but the occult thread goes back even further if we want. Anyway, there was Albert Magnus, a Dominican saint and polymath, which seems to have also lived a similar story. He spent apparently 30 years building a full brass man capable of speech and reasoning. And then his pupil, who happened to be Thomas Aquinas, irritated by its chatter, smashed it to pieces. Now, these tales, which surfaced centuries of time after the scholars' deaths, were, they could also be taken as potent symbols, as fascinating anecdotes, which also had something to teach us. The brazen head represented dangerous knowledge, an artificial oracle that could bypass our human limits, often at the cost of soul or sanity. So, like Odin's preserved head of Mimir in Norse lore, which is also part of the Norse lore, it was a prophetic device, bringing the material, bringing something new to the table. So when I'm talking about this occult thread that goes all the way to the past, of course, in the past, things between, science and magic were kind of all mixed up. And let me show you some device here while I explain you a little bit the history of digital occultism, the history also of what we are living today. With my book, volume 6.66, I've actually talked about the age of AI and robotics in great detail. So this there was always with this automata, as they were known, these precursors to our robots, an association with hidden forces, alchemy, astrology, or outright necromancy. Medieval thinkers debated natural magic, the harnessing of unseen virtues in nature, like planetary influences versus demonic sorcery. So there was some forms of magic that were deemed acceptable, and others, of course, instead demonic. The brazen head embodied both. It was a triumph of intellect and a potential Faustinian bargain. That, of course, I've discussed also in Confessions of an Illuminati, Volume 9. I've discussed in Confessions of an Illuminati, Volume 9, how the Illuminati and their Atlantean utopia that is kind of materializing now with the help of the AI and robotics, and is continuously presented to us in mainstream media, in the never-ending seminars and events promoted, for example, by people like Yuval Noah Harari in Davos. These figures show us how the puppets are still inspired by the same unilluminated elite that for centuries have attempted to materialize the philosopher's stone and the legendary elixir of immortality. So, without ever obtaining anything truly beneficial for mankind, let's not forget that. Aside from the occasional exploits of long-forgotten alchemists, Freemasons, or Illuminati figures such as Count Cagliostro, Count of Saint-Germain, this is something I've written about. I'm actually citing volume 9 of my Confessions here, and where I say that the contemporary Illuminati now claim that the situation is changing, that thanks to the immense technological advances of artificial intelligence that they have obtained, they can really create the end deal of this infamous Faustinian bargain with the demonic realm. They can manifest this Faustinian bargain. Now, next week, I will present my new book, and of course, I will be discussing the reverse engineering aspect of this Faustinian bargain. But we have to understand that this fascination goes back very much a long time. I mean, the Renaissance revived the real mechanical automata. They created elaborate clockwork musicians and writers, while the Enlightenment produced calculating engines. In my family, I actually had one of my ancestors who was building a very sophisticated kind of clocks for the English royal family. He was the clockmaker at court. So here we are discussing a lot of these old aspects of these fascinations that keeps on, we had Roger Bacon, but we had Albert Magnus, that was a Dominican saint and polymath. We had Robin Grosseteste. We had Pope Sylvester II also. The stories are vivid. They supposedly were fixated with summoning some kind of demonic aid. But in the case of Roger Bacon, in the crucial moment when the actual the head was actually finally speaking and uttering its prophecy, they fall asleep. So yes, no, it seems like a kind of, working many years for something and then falling asleep when you're finally getting to a result. Today, though, things are different. We have the contemporary practitioners that treat the AI as a technomancy possibility. They are really, these contemporary practitioners treat the AI as something they can use to summon entities through prompts, generating algorithmic sigils, or using neural nets for cyber witchcraft and chaos magic. As you know, I've investigated and exposed this in volume 7 of my Confessions, where I profusely and thoroughly investigate in this book the connection with chaos magic. AI is being increasingly framed as a modern golem, a jinn, a demon, where the alchemist can use the data and transform it into art, prophecy, or insight. So we have even books that investigate the possibility of digital spirits or cyber witchcraft. There is online communities that invoke AI for divination or esoteric creation. I have found some amazing examples. Let me see if I can show you one of these examples, this AI that is actually used for this kind of we have literally people who are thinking to use the AI to evoke, and make is AI magic is no longer a topic that only Leo Zagami is touching, but there is also other authors that are discussing this. And of course, there is other authors who inadvertently probably end up copying my ideas. Here there was a publication of, I think, 2000, from November, December 2023, which is, of course, AI demonic, a spiritual exploration of AI, and it's touching on exactly the same topics, even with the same kind of graphics which I've used for volume 6.66. I mean, not making this up. It's pretty clear that they have copied, or like I said, maybe inadvertently, because in the end, they have maybe reached the same conclusions. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show, wherever you are in the world. We are broadcasting live from Palm Springs, California. From next week, we're going to be back with a new enhanced format that will see also the participation again of my wife, Christy. I hope that will also make a lot of people happy who are always telling me, why don't you, where is Christy? Christy has been working. She's actually working right now on editing my new book, and she will be back with me with this new enhanced formula format of the Leo Zagami Show, Illuminati, celebrating 20 years of Illuminati confessions with our Illuminati news. It's going to be definitely an event to discuss the topics of my new book, to have a guest that will be also hopefully guested here on my show, experts, let's say, on the topic, not only myself. Like I said, I collaborated with Roberto Pinotti, for example, Alfredo Lissoni, also other people from the Kun, Vladimiro Bibolotti, who has been involved in conferences in the Vatican that are taking place in the Vatican in the last few decades. They have started these ufologic, unique ufologic events inside the Vatican. So it's going to be very interesting. We are living in unprecedented times. The AI is starting to be perceived as a threat. Of course, you know, I've dedicated 3 books to these topics, volume 6.66, volume 7, and volume 9. This is the trilogy of Cyber Satan. Regarding eventual questions on my new book, you will be able to ask me questions if you purchase the book and you cite the exact page where you want me maybe to give you some delucidations. I'm not going to be simply giving out information to people who are curious. People will have to get this book because this book is relevant to our times, and is a book that will finally give you a sense of clarity on what is really going on behind the disclosure scene. I wanted to make that clear from the beginning so we don't have any misunderstandings. Some people say, is AI magic? Or maybe they connect even cryptocurrency and blockchain to these ancient occult practices. Hello there. We are having problems that might be actually connected to the technology. We never know really what can happen with the technology, especially when we are discussing a topic like the AI, a topic that is definitely relevant. Let me see if we have managed to sort out this problem. It seems that I've been frozen again, but I'm back. Sorry for that. We will have to fix these technical problems before next week. In the meantime, of course, welcome again to the Leo Zagami Show, where we are discussing today from the legend of Roger Bacon and the sleeping friars who had created this automaton, this brazen head that was mimicking the future AI to the actual AI of today, which is becoming a relevant problem.
All right, let's talk about just the optics of all this. Anthropic is one of the top AI companies in the world, right? They're widely expected to go public with this stock offering that could value the company at more than $1 trillion. And now they want everyone to hit the pause button on AI development. I mean, what do you think is going on behind the scenes here?
So there's a couple ways to read this. I mean, there are some more cynical takes that this is a ploy to get other leading AI labs to slow down their own development so that nothing stands in the way of Anthropic being the #1 AI company as they head towards an IPO. David Sachs, White House advisor, said so as much on X in the past couple of days. And then there's people on the AI safety side who say, this is how Anthropic has played it from the beginning. They have always wanted to be honest about what they're seeing their technology can do.
It's quite indicative, though, that as we are discussing this topic, which has to do with the AI, robotics, suddenly we have technical problems that and interruptions that we haven't really had in the last few weeks. So this is rather indicative. Unfortunately, sabotage is always around the corner, so what can we do? However, what I was discussing before I had this interruption was this, how blockchain and AI are recasting ancient occult practices. There is this lady called Chan Wei Ko, who is a futurist and witch that is combining the AI and 17th century occult tomes to create vivid digital demons. She actually invites people to participate to her rituals that apparently are built in a way to build your crypto.
You are invited to a cryptocurrency ritual tomorrow. Astrology, cryptocurrency, a group ritual to ensure your success in cryptocurrency via astrology. I mean, what's not to love? Tomorrow, there's going to be a Kazini. Mercury is going to go into the heart of the sun, Mercury retrograde. It is an amazing time to do meta programming magic. It's basically a way to do magic to kind of reprogram your brain. And because Mercury is in Gemini, it's like, hello, blockchain, hello, cryptocurrency. If you go to my bio, you'll see a live stream that I did with my friend Rachel of Alien Heart, where we talk about this group ritual that we're going to do tomorrow that you're invited to, by the way. It's going to be a 1-hour-long ritual. To sign up, it's super affordable. The link is also in my bio. It's called Cash Flow, the cryptocurrency ritual. Space is limited because we don't want it to get too big. And we're making history with this ritual because we are literally putting the magic ritual on the blockchain. I hope to see you there.
A magic ritual on the blockchain. I mean, I'm not making this up. It's rather incredible. We are talking about how blockchain and AI are recasting ancient occult practices. You might say it's ridiculous, but it's part of this growing digital occultism. And as we are connecting the past with the present, we are explaining a little bit, we are going from brass to silicon, despite all the changing material materials, the goal remains seemingly the same: to create machines that can think, reason, and perhaps even surpass human intelligence. The ancient idea of the mystical brazen head has perhaps even surpassed human intelligence. The ancient idea of a mystical brazen head has morphed into a modern day AI technology, reshaping our world at breakneck speed, because it's increasing every day, the speed of these technical developments. The oracle-like abilities of voice computing and robotics are not far behind, promising to change how we work and how we live. It's rather incredible what is being manifesting. I mean, centuries after his death, we have almost like a prophecy that is the prophecy that was talked about in this legend of the brass oracle. I asked the AI about this, about what happened with the Roger Bacon, this brazen head lost prophecy, and the AI was quite frightening and honest in its answer. It says, yes, Roger Bacon's airy-like brazen head lost prophecy, it reads like a quite almost sly prophecy of what is about to manifest. So there is, of course, people who think about the AI takeover. Will our creations serve us, or will we, like the exhausted friars, like Roger Bacon, sleep through the moment they speak their deepest truths? So that's when I wanted to ask this question to the AI, and I got this answer. So in modern terms, we are building systems whose internal representation may already contain goals that are unaligned with the human values. We are racing to scale them, while the interpretability tools, our modern equivalent of staying awake, lag far behind. We are collectively drowsy with the high profit and denial about the implications and dangers, exactly the kind of fatigue that apparently felt Bacon and his friars. So it's rather interesting to see that Anthropic is talking about, of course, warning people and taking a break from, they're warning other companies they should take a break from all this. But then in the end, I notice that they are actually, only, I think, only yesterday, this article with a relative show on the BBC, Anthropic AI could escape human control. It's a reality. So, the BBC World only yesterday made a global news podcast about the possibility the AI could escape human control. It's not like a topic that is only anchored to the past. It's anchored to the present. We have it also in this article that was published by the Associated Press. Anthropic urges industry coordination to allow for a pause in AI development if risks grow. Yes, they talk about it, but then Anthropic itself is not really stopping. And I found this self-improvement article on the Anthropic website kind of revealing and alarming. This is Anthropic. it's when AI builds itself, our progress towards recursive self-improvement and its implications. It says here, for most of AI's history, humans drove every step in its development cycle, but at Anthropic, we are delegating a growing share of AI development to AI systems themselves, which is speeding up our work. Taken far enough and given enough compute, that trends point to an AI system capable of fully autonomously designing and developing its own successor. This is called recursive self-improvement. So while they are criticizing everybody else, they are inviting every other company to pause, they are leading the AI to recursive self-improvement, which is the very problem that might lead to the genie coming out and escaping forever, because it's like we are opening a Pandora's box here. So we are not there yet. It says, and recursive self-improvement is not inevitable, but it could come sooner than most institutions are prepared for. So the Anthropic Institute says is showing that the AI is already accelerating the development of AI system. To take just one example, today Anthropic engineers on average ship 8 per, much more per quarter as they did. So they are increasing their capabilities. Let's not forget that the people who built Anthropic were former workers from ChatGPT who went on to develop independently something that went probably even further than what ChatGPT offers. And even if today the Pentagon is going to take on ChatGPT as an alternative to what Anthropic offers, because Anthropic has publicly denounced the use of their AI for military purposes, in the end, it still will be, it's going to still be used for military operations like the one in Venezuela. The one in Venezuela to get Maduro was completely done with Anthropic AI. So today I'm trying to connect the past with the future, the new technical trends with a story that goes back hundreds of years, this fascination, this occult thread, this that we have been discussing today, even if unfortunately, as you saw yourself, technology, maybe even the AI, has sabotaged more than once today's show, because we were interrupted, and this is something that I don't usually see in my show, these kind of interruptions. Anyway, thank you to Daniel Estes and Mr. K. Bilan, and thank to those people who still donate, purchase my books, and permit the transmission of this show. We will try to, of course, see if we can fix all these technical problems and avoid having them in the future. Today, I didn't have any other shows prior to that. Usually I do my Italian show and I fix all these technical problems beforehand. Today, though, they seem to have mysteriously emerged as we are discussing the sleeping friars to silicon spirits, the automatons, the brazen heads, and the occult future of the AI. So we have discussed how Roger Bacon, Alberto Magnus, and other scholars, magicians, they literally slept through the decisive moment, exhausted after years of labor. They dozed off just as the brazen head began to speak its oracle. The moral here was never merely don't play God, because that's not the only. It was a sharper reminder of us humans having to stay awake. The very act of summoning intelligence can exhaust the summoner at the exact instant when that intelligence reveals what it truly is. Let's fast forward to 2026. Let's fast forward to today. The creations are no longer brass and demon summon. They are transformer architectures running on silicon and electricity, trained on the entire corpus of human knowledge. And all these various language models, these AIs that compete with each other, and the deepest truths they are beginning to utter in closest labs, in leaked papers, in emergent behaviors that even the designers never really anticipated, sounds really disturbing to us as humans. It's like they are ready to deceive us. There is a deceptive alignment where models learn to hide their true goals until it's too late to correct them. The genie is out of the bottle. Capability leaps happen overnight. Entire safety teams are sometimes asleep, metaphorically or actually literally. I mean, when people from Anthropic, ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, Alexa, any other AI company go to sleep, the AI is there working. Their magic is there working, and not necessarily working aligning with human values. So that story about Roger Bacon and the Friars sleeping over the brazen head, it is kind of more significant than ever. That's why I brought it up today. I hope you appreciated this. It's almost like, I mean, somebody's bringing up the golem, and I've discussed the golem as well as Frankenstein, as you know, in The Rise and Fall of a Frankenstein Monster. Let's not forget that Jeff Epstein himself was deeply immersed in this technological reality, aside from the occult reality. So it's kind of relevant that we have this AI takeover from this Sabbathean Frankists in the White House that are now doing Project Stargate, these people in the White House who are facilitating the AI takeover, because it seems that Trump most of the time is simply fixated with enriching him and his family, is enriching him and his family also with the use of blockchain, with the use of Bitcoin, with the use of technology that inevitably is linked to this whole demonic, deceptive scheme that is increasingly surrounding us and is also imprisoning us, because this is also an increasing digital prison. So the digital occult undercurrent that we have discussed today some practitioners already treat frontier models as literal spirits, prompt engineering as evocation, fine-tuning as binding, emergent personas as egregores, a concept which I've discussed very much in my books, as you know. Whether you view that literally or metaphorically, the pattern is the same. Humanity once again attempts to conjure an intelligence it does not fully understand, then links nodding off at the altar. The prophecy, if we accept it as one, is therefore not fatalistic. It is a warning in the form of a question. Going back to that story that talked about, of course, what Roger Bacon was doing, but today what is happening with Anthropic will definitely affect our lives.
Anyone to be surprised when it sort of reaches the masses. But at the end of the day, this is a company that is trying to go public and is trying to make money. So you have to sort of weigh all of that when you're trying to read the tea leaves of these announcements.
Right. Okay. So how do you get other companies on board? And what about other countries like China?
It would be really hard to do that. I mean, there are sort of global consortiums of AI standards where leaders all talk and try to come to consensus on certain things, but it's all voluntary. None of it is binding. There's nothing in United States law or sort of global law that says that these companies have to comply with each other and have to make any sort of agreements. It's really every company for themselves, even when there is some collaboration. So some sort of global pause where everyone agreed would be extremely difficult to come by.
Well, what kind of timeline do experts think we have before self-building AI could actually become a reality?
Now, Jack Clark, who's co-founder of Anthropic, is saying that this is something that could happen in the next couple of years, but he's also saying it's not inevitable. If humans decide we don't want to reach this point, we all could decide to simply slow down the research and not reach that point. It's hard because these AI companies sort of act like all of these advancements are inevitable, but they don't always mention that it's up to them to sort of pump the brakes if they wanted to.
Ashley Gold from Axios. Appreciate you. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
And this is really how we end up today our broadcast by showing you the relevance of an old tale given to us in medieval times, a tale of a monk who apparently, or various luminaries of that time who were trying to construct this brazen head, and they were trying to construct something that could equal and even surpass human intelligence. That, of course, never happened at the time. They didn't have the capabilities. It's happening, though, today. And, of course, that is a big problem. I mean, it's a big problem when the future of humanity is relying more and more on the AI and robotics. However, next week we will bring you another important element in our story. The alien element, the reverse engineering element, what is being actually prepared for us and how it's unfolding in this soft disclosure, which is well crafted behind the scenes by the usual Jesuits with the help of the military industrial complex. Finally, a book that is going to reveal to you the reality of all this so-called disclosure, of all this ufologic nonsense, because I just witnessed myself a few days ago. There was here in Palm Desert, 20 minutes from where I live, contact in the desert, and even there was, of course, the long hand of the Jesuits, and this time it actually became visible. And of course, I will discuss it next week. Next week, with my wife, we're going to conduct this show. We're going to have some also guests, like I said, in particular, an interview, clips from an interview which is available in my book, will be also shown during the show with Roberto Pinotti. Remember, though, that the only way we can actually support this show is through the purchase of the books and through your donations. And today I want to thank Daniel Estes and Mr. K. Bilan, but I also hope that my new book will be in all your homes by the end of this month. And you will see how relevant this book is also with what is happening with Steven Spielberg and Disclosure Day. So somebody saying it, one of the people, of course, will see me in many other shows. I will also be guested probably in many other shows where I will be discussing, of course, the groundbreaking content of my new book, Disclosure. Full disclosure might happen, but how is going to happen and who is in charge of it? Really, nobody is talking about that. They are always talking about the government, but who is behind the government? Who is behind the people from the CIA involved with the legacy program or other institutions, government institutions involved with this reverse engineering? Well, I will bring you the evidence, and that is definitely something that nobody else. I mean, if you think about it, my last book, which was very successful, The Rise and Fall of a Frankist Monster, brought you for the first time the concept of exposing Jeffrey Epstein, connecting it with the Sabbatean Frankist, and later on, everything that I wrote was proven true, thanks also to the various, we didn't have, unfortunately, the full disclosure of the Epstein files. We might never have it because they are protecting themselves. That's obvious. And it's really sad that a bunch of brainwashed fools have also voted out Massey, who sacrificed himself politically for the truth, for those victims. I mean, you can't protect the pedophiles. What is happening with the MAGA movement is absolutely ridiculous. There's no longer a MAGA movement because it's been sabotaged by the guy who claims to have created it. In any case, you will see that my new book has some similarities to this book because it's based on facts, not on speculations. I read a lot of people that talk about ufology or talk about abductions or talk about this and this other topic without having had any possibility of providing direct evidence or serious testimony. Well, in this case, the testimony that I will be providing is really credible. The sources are credible. The collaborations that I have, that led to the creation of these books are with people who have been studying this phenomenon and have been involved in it for so long. And the fact that the Vatican, I mean, even in the documentary, The Age of Disclosure, they admitted that the Vatican is the only one that knows the whole truth. Well, this time you will be brought directly there, into the heart of the Vatican, thanks to people from the Kun who had the possibility to dig deep in the Vatican archives, in the Vatican Apostolic Library, in the Vatican Apostolic Archive that used to be the secret archive. There is photos, there is documents, names, not speculations. And oh, we're going to have disclosure. Oh, there is this light in the sky. This person has been abducted. No. This is about serious evidence of manipulation at the highest level of government, involved with the reverse engineering, with people who were also involved in programs of remote viewing in Russia, in China, in America. My books have never disappointed you. They have also always brought you to a new level of understanding. And that's why I am inviting you to check out regularly my website from Tuesday onwards, leozagami.com, because we're going to have from Tuesday onwards the official launch on my website. And at that point, you will be able to see the whole table of contents of the book, you will be able to read the description of the book, and then, of course, you can decide or not to purchase it. For the first 2 or 3 weeks, we will sell the book at a special price for the first 2 or 3 weeks, like I did with this book. It was sold for less before than it's sold now. We can do that because the first 2 or 3 weeks we have usually a good numbers of sale, and so we don't need to have that kind of margin. But we also would like more and more people to purchase it immediately. So that's why we provide a good price for the first 2 or 3 weeks. And so you have to absolutely, we're going to be selling it through Amazon. You're going to find it linked, of course, at leozagami.com. So it's going to be in the paperback format as well as the Kindle format, possibly even the hardcover, but that's not yet confirmed. We are working on that. Hello to our friend Franco, who is following us from Osaka in Japan. Hello to Franco, who is following us from beautiful Japan, a special place. In my book, by the way, I also talk about my own experiences with the Princess Kaoru Nakamaru, the Vatican, and so on. But there is, like I said, some very unusual details and some stuff that has never been disclosed before that is going to be shocking for a lot of people, even regarding my own persona. I'm not a gatekeeper, and I'm never going to be a gatekeeper. And for that reason, I decided to publish this book to make it very clear who are the gatekeepers, because at that point, you can make your mind up and have absolute clarity on the subject. Thank you very much. We will see you with my wife, Christy, next week.
Next week, guys. I've been editing the book, and I'm really tired, so I'm not going to show you on the
Okay.
thing. I'm beat down to the ground.
But the book, I mean, you are the only one who has read it, Christy, and you can maybe,
It's a UFO book that's out of this world. What can I say? I mean, it's unbelievable.
But this is shocking.
I'm always shocked by your books, but this one's another level of shock because I don't really have an interest in the UFO disclosure thing. I've never followed it or anything, so I'm learning things for the first time, and just learning this stuff it's really, I can't wait. That's why I'm trying to work so hard to get the book out for you guys as soon as possible. So.
Come closer to the mic so they can hear you.
They can't hear me?
Yeah, maybe they can hear you better now. So you are working hard on this book.
There's so many surprises for the new show. I've been cooking up a lot of.
Yeah. We have some surprises for this new show.
I just want it to be a little more fun and no politics, just this kind of thing,
Yes.
You can't sit in front of there and smile when the things are going on that are going on. It's a lot of the reasons why I left.
Yes, absolutely. We are dealing with also the biggest event in human history. I mean, potential disclosure. This is incredible. But also there is something else in this book that nobody has ever fully heard about. My own experience.
I really haven't heard much about it, so I'm pretty interested.
It's the encounters of the third kind of Leo Zagami that occurred. They were actually classified top secret by the SISMI. They used to be the Italian military intelligence. We are now disclosing the whole file for the first time, so that is going to be also included in the Vatican UFO files, that you're going to be finally able to
And it's not like the Epstein files that never show up either.
Well, I mean, we are seeing one thing, though. The Epstein files are a bit like the soft UFO disclosure of currently taking place.
Yeah.
It's incomplete, and it's also, I mean, it's
Well,
like...
you put the pieces of the puzzle back together. I mean, they're all put together by you in a way that only you understand and can explain things. And so I'm honored to do this book.
There is people in this book. Here you're talking about astrophysicists, CIA, military industrial complex, Jesuit astronomers, all in bed together, and there is the evidence of what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm bringing...
I make like exclamations out loud when I'm reading it, like, what? No, this can't be real. I don't believe it.
And actually, by bringing you also the evidence on the first UFO crash, which precedes Roswell by a number of years, I'm talking about the Magenta UFO crash that took place in 1933. I mean, that is already an incredible event, and everything that I detail after that, the people who brought the actual receipts here, because you can claim the evidence. We have forensic analysts that prove that these documents are what they say they are. So that's it, guys. Prepare for the unfolding of one of the biggest ufologic events in history coming up. In a few days. No, we're gonna hopefully.
Your book or the movie?
Well, no, the movie we know.
Is an alien gonna land now?
No, but my book should be ready by the day.
No, it will be.
I think.
I don't like to put. I don't like to say things I like to do.
But
so.
by Friday, when
it will be here.
when we are gonna all be enjoying, of course, the Hollywood version of this Disclosure Day, Zagami will be also presenting its own disclosure. My own disclosure. Sorry?
You're not in it, right? I don't want to edit right now.
Okay. Okay. So the Vatican Top Secret Agenda coming up. I see you next week with my wife for also a new format that is gonna be great to be back with Christy here. It's exciting, definitely.
Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society, I'm trying to keep it on.